All right, then. I'm Scott.
I'm David.
And we are Detox. What are we talking about this episode?
Before we get into it,
Oh,
as
yeah,
always,
dude.
we got to thank our Commando-in-Chief.
We do have to thank Colton, our sound master engineer.
Thank you,
Our
thank
third
you.
chair.
He is the bomb.
The chair also doesn't wear underwear.
There you go.
The man with a face for radio.
All right, well,
Dude.
what's our topic today?
I think we're talking The Office.
Oh, so the best show on earth.
One of the greatest TV shows of all time. Could possibly be the greatest.
I think there is much reason behind that.
Yeah. And we're talking specifically the US version.
Yes, the good one.
Right. The one that matters.
Just like America, freed from the British.
Yes.
And I might be in the minority, but I would disagree. And I enjoy The Office, but it's not like my favorite, and I don't think it's like uber great.
Wow. All right.
We keep all views on this podcast.
I would
Wrong
kick
and
you
right.
out of this studio, but I guess we're going to need your input.
Right.
At one point or another. So,
Otherwise, we'd be recording with, 2 cups and a string?
that's
not
true.
gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do we even begin? How about this? This is a great question, just to spark our discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your favorite character on The Office?
I think Creed. Like, the more I think... Because I like the storylines of Jim, Dwight,
Yeah.
Michael. I think those 3 are the main characters of the show.
Yep.
But every time Creed says a word, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Anytime he says something.
Yes.
He's the only character that makes me laugh with almost every line.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that's...
Especially in the later seasons.
Oh, even in early seasons, if you watch him, I think Rachel and I are in our 4th or 5th watch through of The Office.
gosh.
Yeah, it's like that meme. It's like watch a new show or watch The Office again.
Yep.
And we started looking at Creed in the background. There's an episode where he wears sweatpants
Really?
and no one notices. Like, he just wears gray sweatpants and no one notices. It's
That
just
is awesome.
the things that Creed does.
He is a pretty good character.
And he is, like, the actor's name is Creed Bratton.
Oh, yeah. He plays himself.
And he plays himself.
Yeah.
Like, that's even better.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What's your favorite?
I was actually gonna say Creed, so now I feel like I can't.
No, you still
and
can.
I don't want to answer with Michael or Jim or Dwight.
It's okay if you
because
do.
those are good. Like, I love Michael Scott. I think that character is just fantastic, and
Yep.
no one can play Michael Scott like
Nope.
Steve Carell. But I think I'm gonna have to be creative here and say Robert California.
That is a good one.
I think Robert California is my favorite character on The Office.
That's why I liked Ultron, like we've talked about before.
No.
I haven't got that far yet to see Robert California, but I've heard you either love him or you hate him.
That's true. You're going to love him, I feel.
knowing you like
Okay.
him.
We'll see. You'll have to let us know what your thoughts are on Robert California, but man, his character's good.
In what way? Like what is he good? Like Creed is just good because every line is gold. Oh, it's good. My favorite is like when Creed they're doing the Michael's going through with the complaints.
Yeah.
And Ryan says Creed has a distinct old man smell. And it's like, I know exactly what he's talking. Mung beans. I'm just like, what?
Good for you. Smell like that.
I love the part with Creed. They're playing the murder mystery game, and he shows up late.
Oh yeah.
There's been a murder.
It's like, all right,
And
let
you're
me
a
go check
suspect.
my car.
Let me go settle in, boss. I'll be right back. He peels out.
But the part of Robert California,
Oh, yeah.
to answer your question, that's really appealing is from the get-go, when you first see him, he controls the
Yes.
scene, the narrative, in the funniest way. And he's this, like everything he says, like Michael backhanded would be semi-sexual jokes, but that's what she said. Robert California is that, but up to 11.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
no.
Yeah.
like there's a scenario where he's with Jim and he's like, "Hey, do you want to hear the sexual example or the nature one?" And Jim's like, "Oh, nature." And Robert's like, "All right, so when two animals have sex."
Rough.
It's just like he's the epitome of just psycho and controlling, and they do it in such a humorous way.
Okay.
So it's really funny to see. I mean, the first interaction, it cuts to Jim talking about him, and he gets the chills.
Oh, that's
See.
good.
So yeah.
It's just a totally different character, and I don't know.
I would have loved to see him interact with Michael.
Oh yeah.
Like that would have been wonderful. And on that note, what's your least favorite character in the whole show?
Oof. I would have to. Well, I mean, there's the characters that don't matter in like the first few episodes of season 1. They all
It's
get
hands
fired
down
and-
Phyllis. I do not like Phyllis
Hey,
at
man,
all.
Phyllis is the worst person.
No, you
Like,
need Phyllis.
she
Come
she
on.
has like a giant character arc, but like I just none of it is good.
No,
It's terrible. Like she just is a terrible like person.
there's so much evidence behind that too. Like when Jim and Pam first start dating,
Yeah.
she walks in the break room on them. They're not even holding hands. She's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know where your hands were." Pam, also, I need you to give sales randomly to people, not the person who you're sleeping with that week.
Yeah.
And like lines like that, or when they have the Finer Things Club and
Yeah.
they're in the break room eating together. She comes and uses the microwave for popcorn. Why are you using this one and not the other one? Because the other one smells like popcorn.
Okay, here's
like
the
she
thing.
does.
You see,
Oof.
those are funny. It's
No,
funny.
It
They're
is.
funny.
It is funny. It's just like
Tell me a time you laughed, and I don't remember his name.
Gabe.
No, the character
I
played
actually
by.
he's probably one of my
How do you
favorite
say
characters.
the actor's name? Idris
Idris
Elba.
Elba?
Elba. What's that character?
Charles.
Charles.
Yeah.
Tell me a time when you laughed at Charles.
See, but I don't see that as his purpose. He was meant to be like a wedge.
I think like it. The reason like I like Gabe is like the reason a lot of people I feel like Charles. Like I like Gabe because of the way people interact with
Yeah.
Gabe. Like one of my favorite scenes with Gabe, because I'm not super far, is the scene with Kevin and the Cookie Monster.
Sure.
But right at the end where Gabe gets roasted
yeah.
by Kevin. I'm Gabe and ciao. And it's like, so good.
So
Did that happen with Charles though? Ever?
with Charles,
Okay.
I think that the good part that we saw him is pretty much almost everyone except Dwight until then. Jim was adored by everyone. Charles made it clear that, hey, I don't care about you.
Sure.
Back
Yeah.
off. Like even Will Ferrell's character was amazing. Like whatever
I
they
wouldn't
kept
say amazing.
I'm not
Man,
that far yet, so I don't
they
know.
kept pushing Cynthia on him, and his line of like, "That is the number one baby I don't care about."
Oh.
Different lines like that, like super good.
The episode where they challenge him and play basketball, isn't that what they
Yes.
do? That was pretty funny, and his juggling routine is
Yeah,
pretty
to Evanescence.
hilarious. Yeah, but I mean that I don't
Wake
know.
me up.
I like his famous line. I never touch another juggler's instruments. I love that.
See, there's moments he has, where isn't Phyllis? I just find, I don't know. Like again, she can do all those things. She can grow character. Like she helps Angela grow as a character.
Sure.
But I see her as this. You see her as the sweet lady at first, and then man, she does.
Like
Let's-
if you really like boil down a lot of like the tension and like bad things that happen in the office,
Yeah.
you can usually bring it back to Phyllis.
Yeah, she's there. And even like when Karen comes with the odor and like Phyllis smells bad, I mean that's Bob Vance. I'll have you know who he is. You know,
I don't
he
know.
bought
I
me
like-
this perfume.
I don't hate on Phyllis. I think Phyllis is necessary for
But
the office.
she's a necessary evil. the way I see it.
And maybe the same is true of Charles.
Yeah,
So
I would agree with. Yeah, I would
I think
100% agree
he
with
needed he had to be there to like
Yeah.
transition shenanigans.
that. Yep.
And it's amazing. I've watched it enough to see the characters like develop and change over time through the course of the first couple, maybe 3 seasons.
Well, what I really liked, just rewatching it again, because I think we're in season 4.
Yeah.
Season 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
what they are is they're developing the characters as a
Yeah.
whole, letting us know who Michael is, who Jim is, who Dwight. They're kind of letting us know the groundwork, like these, and the way they
Yeah.
lay it out isn't like, hey, these people just got together. Like from episode 1, their personalities, when you look back, you see it. Like,
Yes.
this is who these people are, and they do that really well. Season 3 is probably my favorite season in the whole show, and that's funny. That's the first season I watched when it first came out. Was
Oh,
season
really?
3, so it's just that history behind
Yeah.
it. And B, it's the first season where everything gets spun on its head. Jim goes to what is it, Stanford?
Yeah.
You know, Pam and Roy have their
Yeah.
breakup. Like everything gets. Jan starts dating Michael.
Yeah.
Like everything that was normal from before is changed. And ever since then, we see all the characters in every other season afterwards be put through different situations to bend their character and see who they are and how
Sure.
they'll like
I even
progress.
feel like though, like the supporting characters like Kevin and
Love Kevin.
and Angela and Kelly, like those characters change
Yep.
a lot in the first couple of seasons.
Yeah. Angela actually becomes a likable character by the end.
That's arguable,
Or
but
tolerable.
yeah,
I should say tolerable.
tolerable. Okay, yeah,
Like she admits her wrong by the end, which is really cool.
sure.
And Dwight goes from terrible manager material to the best option that anyone saw.
Yes,
And they all agreed to it.
yeah.
And Stanley finally retires
It's all resolved at the end.
and
It's
doesn't
just
cheat on
perfect.
everyone by the end.
Oh my, Stanley, no.
There's just so much good. And speaking of kind of like our favorite, or what's your favorite cold open? Oh, there's so many good ones.
Yeah, there are so many good ones, and I would have to say The Fire,
We talked about that in Mob Mentality a little bit.
right?
But
Right.
That is a good open.
Oh, but hold on. Like,
Mine's simple.
okay.
Kevin and the chili.
Oh,
Oh, that one makes me so sad
Yeah.
every time, but it's so funny.
And even the fact that knowing they only had one take for it. And it was
It was
perfect
gold.
from the take, like from the
Oh.
background to the actual production of it. Perfect.
I mean, there are so many good ones. I would have to. I think I'd have to say The Fire.
That's
Like,
I think my favorite is when like Toby came back, but Michael didn't know.
Yeah.
No.
Is that in the open
I think so.
It's the
when he goes back to the annex?
yeah,
and he
because like
screams?
he screams. It's like it's just screaming no, and then it cuts, and the
Oh,
music
yeah.
starts, and it's gold.
It's
Yeah.
also very memeable.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is memeable. I like that as a verb.
Yeah.
Memeable or adjective.
My second, I don't know, the one that was my favorite for the longest time was when they're doing that music video in the beginning.
Yeah.
And the reason that I liked that one is it did a quick like 1 or 2 seconds of everyone's personality. Like Michael kept doing this magic.
Yes.
Like that was his big thing. Dwight always had his weapons.
Yeah.
Jim didn't really care about any
He
of that.
just was there.
Karen was like extra. No, not Karen. I'm sorry. Aaron was extra.
Aaron.
Like she was all, just trying to be the light of it.
Creed.
Toby was the cameraman, and everyone's like, "You're falling behind."
You're falling behind, Toby.
Yeah, Creed with his guitar. Gets a call. Wolf.com.
What is your
Wolfduck.
favorite
Or wolf.
episode?
I think that's harder.
Easy.
Dinner party's up there.
Oh man,
Which
that's
one's
a
dinner
good
party?
one.
It's where they do like a quadruple date. It's Michael and Jan have Jim and Pam, Andy and Angela, and then Dwight and his former
Nanny.
babysitter. over.
for a dinner party.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And-
Like Michael at the beginning, Michael tricks Jim and Pam
yeah.
into admitting that they're free in the evening, and
Mm-hmm.
so they're kind of forced to come over for a dinner party.
Okay, I remember that.
For
one.
me,
Okay.
what did me over is that TV.
Oh,
So he
yeah.
like there's a small 20-inch TV
And
against
he's
the
so
wall.
proud of his flat screen and how it can.
And he's like, oh
Push
yeah,
into the
when you want a
wall.
more personal effect, like, he pulls it forward and it moves like 2 inches.
It's awesome.
Oh man.
Favorite episode I think is the fire episode.
That's
and
a good one.
because like it not only has an awesome open, but I think that's the same episode that they do the CPR. Isn't that? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's so good because Stanley had his heart attack.
Yeah.
So that's why
and,
they do it.
You know, so there's the CPR thing in there. Like that's a good episode. That's good. But I don't know. The dinner party one is amazing.
I'm a really big fan, and I think it's more. And the more you rewatch it, you
Yeah.
see a lot of different things and lines.
Yeah.
Like I just Dwight, man. The things he says, I forgot if it was at a wedding, but it was just a lot of people, and he's like, "Hey, I think we need a new plague."
Oh,
Yes.
Why are there so many people here? We need a new plague.
Like,
Yeah.
I say that a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
There are so many quotable lines from The Office that you can just use in everyday life.
so in the end, like, what do you think makes this your favorite, or, not opinion based but fact based, the best show out there? Not opinion, just truth. That's all we speak. The best show.
It hurts. It hurts
kidding,
every
but-
time.
But what do you think it makes it your favorite show?
Well, just fact based. How many seasons are there? Look that up.
I think there is 9, but let me just
And,
double check.
like,
9 seasons.
How many other TV shows other than America's Funniest Home Videos have gone for more than 9 seasons, you know?
Another show, It's Always Sunny, has gone for a bunch. A lot
Has
of
it?
those like adult cartoons, like Family Guy.
I
and-
feel like
they go on
The
for 20.
Office is like our generation's Seinfeld.
Yeah, or a lot of people compare it to Friends. Like, it's more the later 2000s Friends.
Cue the eye roll. I'm not a fan of Friends.
I'm not
but
either. I don't like being told when to laugh, but that's just me.
Ouch.
And yeah,
Y'all keep looking at me because I just The Office. I don't know. It's like, it's funny. It is funny. It's just, I feel like, I don't know.
it doesn't hit you right. And that's
Yeah,
fine. No.
it's like the story just takes so long,
Yep.
and that's where it gets me. And then, like, I haven't reached the point where Michael has left yet,
Mm-hmm.
but like because I know it's coming, I'm like,
When?
yeah, I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna happen. I think I have an idea because I've seen different shenanigans,
Yeah.
and I know how the show ends because somebody ruined it for me. So I'm just like,
David,
I
2
don't-
minutes ago.
well, no, I mean, it's just like, do I need to watch it because I know it happily resolves? I'm like, eh.
I think that's definitely a perspective thing, because the way I view The Office is every episode is episodic. Like, you can, or not every, but majority
Most
of
of them, yeah.
episodes you can watch individually,
Yes.
and because of that, the story takes a little while to progress,
Right, that's fair.
and so it's almost as if they wanted you to be able to pick it up anywhere and still enjoy it, but also people who follow stories to have something overarching.
That is true. I do feel like you can pick it up anywhere and just enjoy.
Like being how I have to watch them in order. Like I find it nuts because I know a bunch of people that will just go on Netflix, click on a
Well-
random season, watch an episode, and I'm like, I want to see everything.
That's what
before.
we do now that we've seen it all.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through the whole thing, so it's like, what the heck? What episode do you want to watch
Yeah,
tonight?
I mean, that's-
and we'll do that sometimes.
But you've already seen it. I'm
Right.
just saying, like, there's people out there who haven't seen everything, and they're just like, yeah, I'll just click on that. I had a roommate once that did that.
Wait, like he just hadn't seen,
He just hadn't seen it all,
and he had the option to go back to the beginning.
yeah, but he would just watch random ones.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
And-
See the whole thing
What?
through
Yeah.
for the first time, and then you can choose.
You know, I could see it in the sense of like you get to the middle to see like if it's any good.
Yep.
Because what series? It was right in the old Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first season, and I think like the beginning of the second season, and then I don't know what happened after that. It just like
Fell down.
it was like the scene of like SpongeBob where they go down to like the rock bottom.
Yep.
It was like straight down. I was like, oh my gosh,
I guess
what happened?
I watched it when it was like first coming out,
Mm-hmm.
and so I guess I didn't know all the spoilers, and I was invested in the storyline, and I wanted to see what happened with Jim and Pam,
Yep.
and what happened with Dwight, and I was invested, and so I guess I could see, like, now that it's been spoiled for you, like how you don't have as much.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't
Trying
like
to watch it.
appreciate
Yeah.
it because it's like it's so like it's just everyone can find aspects of it funny. So I'm like,
Sure.
that's great.
Yeah.
But because I feel like it's so like it's just been saturated, I'm just like,
Well, it's
I-
in everything. I mean,
it is.
it's in memes. It's in just culture, the way people talk sometimes. Like, That's What She Said became huge
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of The Office.
And like there's almost no person that you can go, hey, do you know what The Office is? Like very few times you're gonna go, no.
Right.
You know?
See, like one thing I've really liked about it is I'm not a huge fan of cliffhanger things. I'm still a sucker for them. Like if you see a cliffhanger, you just want to. I can't wait for the next episode. The Office
Yeah.
doesn't leave you hanging too much, and that's what I meant by like it being episodic. Like you can watch an episode and then you're like, all right, I'm fine with that. That's really cool. Unless it's one of those part 1, part 2s.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot that's really just there, and I don't know. It's
That's
enjoyable.
true. That is very
all
true.
Bite-sized fun.
I'm looking up quotes, Michael Scott quotes that we use in our everyday use, because I know
boy.
there's a lot of them. Man, none of these are good. Okay, my wife and I use this sometimes. Like when Michael Scott says, you know what they say, fool me once, strike one, but fool me twice, strike three. You know how he botches that? My wife and I will do this sometimes. Start a sentence and not know where you're going,
yeah.
like he does at the corporate office.
The thing we've done the most, like Rachel and I's, if you remember where Jim gets his new job, or he's like starting his second job as the sporting, there's a part where his coworker is talking to Pam, and she's going to interview for the other like essentially office with the guy from Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
And before then, he's like, "You got this. You can do it. Team Halpert." And then he walks away. So it'll be a lot of times where one of us is doing something either for work or something new that we haven't gone into, and either her or I will be like, "Go Team Debrescu. You got it."
That's awesome.
And like that's just a running thing that's always been there since that episode.
That's awesome.
There's just I don't know. There's so many things that always I don't know that brings like Creed with the when Ryan's trying to like introduce blackberries and everything to them, and he comes in the next episode with black hair and it's all from the printer's dye ink. Like
that was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
a lot of moments like that where you're just like, man, that's so well done.
Yeah.
And again with background stuff, I don't know if you've noticed how many times Creed steals in the background. Like there's one where they all put their hands together, and then right afterwards Phyllis is like, hey, what happened to, I think it was her bracelet or her ring? She's like, it's gone. But if you look at while their hands are together, you can see his touching hers and
Really?
kind of starting to steal it. So there's always those things happening, just
That's funny.
going on.
That's crazy.
It's like a gold mine. You can find everything. You could watch it like so many times and still not get everything from it.
Yeah, and even just characters that weren't meant to be dug into as deep, but ended up being deep. Like Andy
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be with the show past Stanford.
Right.
but so many people liked him. I think I almost call it the Andy effect, because Andy also in Parks and Rec wasn't supposed to be there after the
That's
relationship.
True. That's true.
But that's two shows, funny enough, written by the same.
Which Parks and Rec isn't as good as The Office, but
Yeah, that's. I mean,
yeah,
we don't have debates, and that's not one. So
Right.
yeah, I'm just gonna. I
There
just
you
slice.
go.
Just roasting everybody that likes a different show.
Well, there are a lot of like Parks and Rec. It's the lesser model of
Yep.
the same car. So,
Is
Fact.
that the?
gonna make people.
Is that
angry.
the?
Fact.
What's her? Is that the character Leslie?
Leslie, no.
Yeah.
Nope. Is that
Nope.
what it is? Okay.
No.
I've seen like bits and pieces, and
That it's still a good show.
It is.
It's got Ron. Ron
Swanson. Yeah.
is where it's at. But anyways, back to The Office. Just seeing, I don't know how it's written and how things are done. And I don't know what out of seasons that you enjoyed the most. What's one? Because like I said, for me it's season 3. I could watch that
Oh man.
over and over. Like what's
Yeah.
one season that as soon as it starts, you're like, man, every scene is pivotal. I like it. I enjoy it.
Oh, they're all so unique. You know, I can flip back to the later seasons and just see it coming to a close, and I appreciate that. I like the kind of the mid seasons, and just to pick up like random episodes and just enjoy them for their comedic value. I like the beginning episode or beginning season, and just to see how everything started. I don't know, it's just so different.
Yeah.
I've watched it enough to know that all the seasons are different, and I don't know if I have a favorite. But do you have a favorite season?
Yeah, season 3.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
So it was the first one I watched. It's the first season where things start changing. There's a lot of like character development is tested, especially big time for Jim and Pam. It's really tested. Even Dwight with his trust with Michael, he becomes less of a follower, more independent. There's a lot of cool things that happen.
whichever season like Saber comes in.
Dunder Mifflin and Sabre.
Yeah, it's
Saber.
like there are a lot of great just things that
Yeah.
happen in
I mean,
that.
Gabe.
I don't know why he gets. I mean, okay, I can see why he gets so much hate, but I love Gabe.
He gets screwed so much to the end where when he leaves, like no one really know. Like he
That's
just
true.
kind of disappears
Yeah.
from the show without a formal outro,
That's a rough
and they do that to him on purpose because it's Gabe.
man. I think
What episode did he leave in? I guess
I
I
think
don't
that's the
even
point
remember.
because he's so forgettable.
Yeah.
man, getting shafted. I think like one of my favorite scenes with him is when he's like trying to. I think it happened over a couple episodes, but he's trying to like assert like some authority.
Yeah.
And then gets told like he can't.
Yep.
But then like when Pam realizes the loophole where she can
Yep.
be like the office manager, is that
Yep.
what it was?
Yeah.
And he like tries to call her out on it but can't directly say it.
That is awesome.
And she's like, "Well, if you need an office manager." It's like, "Can I get one of those nameplates?" Just I was like, gold.
What growth for her though? She went from not standing up to herself to literally creating her own job,
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
salary, like what,
Gold.
over 40 a year
Yeah.
for just a made up position that she had on the spot.
That was awesome.
Like
And I'm honestly I'm surprised that like Oscar didn't call her out more for it. I don't think he really cared, but it was good. It was real good.
There are the Michael Scott seasons, and I think that character drives the seasons. And then there are the post Michael Scott seasons, which they rely a little bit more on the supporting characters and the newer characters. And I like the Robert California era,
yep.
but it is missing Michael Scott. So
I
think-
honestly sorry, yeah.
No, you go.
I think like Michael Scott is there, but like it's like you couldn't have like the Michael Scott without like Jim and Dwight.
sure,
Like
Yeah.
they like dry. I feel like Michael's there and you follow it, but like without the interactions of Jim and Dwight, it just wouldn't be as
oh yeah,
wouldn't mean
for sure.
anything.
Like,
Yeah, I agree.
I think it goes on perspective. if you view this show as like Steve Carell plus, you're a lot of those people. As soon as Michael leaves, they're like, I can't watch The Office. I don't like it, because they were just watching it for Steve Carell. Like
Right.
that's who they were fans of.
Yeah.
But if you look, I try to look at it story wise and kind of base it off that. The three main characters are Jim, Michael, and Dwight.
Yep.
And my reason behind that is their stories, they have so many arcs where they develop.
Yes.
Jim gets married, Dwight's relationship with Angela, back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, with the kid coming, like in the future, like whose kid is this? And then you have Jim wanting to be a manager, developing his own business, you know, later on.
Yep.
A lot of things like that are going back and forth between them, that if one of them were missing, that's a huge chunk of the story.
Sure.
And you can argue that with Michael as well, but him being the manager, like, kind of puts him into that. I guess they're all replaceable, but it puts him into that where he is almost like a false center of the show. Like, he's not really the center, because without the support, he's nothing.
Right.
But the support still survives without him, and it's clear. I think season 7's a little rough in the beginning without him, because they're clearly trying to find out
Yes.
where, like, who do we put in his position.
Yeah.
And the show definitely got better when they realized we can't replace him.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep going with the support.
Right.
Like, we would have never gotten that episode where Andy adopts all those dogs.
Yes.
And Kevin's like, sometimes I feel like I'm working with idiots, because he's the only one calling it out. We would have never gotten that without Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, with Michael. We would have never
right.
gotten... And so it opens up characters.
Yes.
And I see that as good.
Yeah.
Because the show... It showed that, hey, we can still be funny, we can still be good. And that part with, like, why I liked D'Angelo Vickers is he made it clear that, A, Michael is, you can't replace him.
Yeah.
And B, that he wasn't really trying to. Like, he only had, 5 episodes, and people were freaking, or 4 episodes, and people were like, oh, I don't want Will Ferrell to be, I almost said Will Smith, but I don't want Will Ferrell to be in, like, the new full-time replacement.
I would
that
love
wasn't
to
his
see
goal.
Will Smith.
But it was, I really liked kind of that give and take of all the characters, and seeing Kevin grow. Like, we wouldn't get that as Kevin was such a background. Even Creed, we got a whole storyline with Creed.
Yeah.
Like, with finding out
For sure.
like he was like a villain pretty much the whole time, and then they arrested him at the end, and like that whole like storyline to follow was pretty enjoyable.
Dude. The Office.
Well,
I'm gonna go home and watch the whole thing again, I think.
well, we're currently going through it anyways. I think, let me see what episode we're on, because I have it marked down. It'll be a good one. We're on, it's gonna play. I don't want it to play. We're on season 4, episode 14.
Which one is that?
Goodbye, Toby. If you remember where Toby leaves.
Goodbye, Toby. I don't remember his.
It's where the new HR, Michael's new love,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
where
yeah.
Jim wanted to propose to Pam, but Andy ruined the whole situation and proposed to Angela.
Oh, that's right.
And we get our songs, the Goodbye, Toby.
That's right. Yeah.
Super good. Any other thoughts on The Most Beautiful Show?
Dude, it is the greatest show of all time.
The one
and
that-
Colton is missing out.
That Colton adores, but he's just pretending to be antagonistic.
I don't know, man. I don't even think I have a favorite show.
That's okay. I think for me it's 2 segments. Favorite comedy is The Office. Favorite drama is Breaking Bad. For me,
I haven't seen that either.
that's a
I
good.
have not seen
I feel like I'm
that.
very uncultured in the TV world.
You probably are.
Now, yeah, the more we talk, I'm like, Die Hard. I haven't finished The Office. Man, I gotta catch up.
Have you watched all of Parks and Rec?
I've never seen a full episode of Parks and Rec.
Dude, here's the deal. You need to just stop everything you're doing and finish The Office. Then,
Parks and Rec.
The Office. I think finish The Office first. And then you can give us a
A reasonable assessment.
a good, yeah, then you can judge with good confidence.
All right.
on-
As soon as I finish, we'll
You
come
know?
back and we'll assess it.
right.
So, real quick, last episode I said I was going to work on implementing the weird questions some other way.
Yeah.
It's still at the end. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out different methods. But I do have one for us. Kind of before we head out here. It's just what's one, it's irrational. What's one irrational fear you have that it's just, there's no sense to it,
Oh,
but you have it.
I know it, but I'll let Scott go. I'll let him go first.
My wife always tells me never to tell people. I guess she doesn't tell me this. I don't know where I got this from. Maybe I got this from Dwight or something.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a Dwight thing. But don't tell people what you're afraid of. But I think most people know by now. I am deathly afraid of spiders.
You see,
And it's not cool.
but I could say that's not
That's
irrational.
not too bad. That's a lot
Because
of people, but
there are
that's
some
still-
poisonous things, and like because I don't know enough about spiders, I don't know. if that-
Serious?
I don't
They're
know if that
crawling
one's
around.
poisonous or not.
They can hide on you. They can kill you.
Just don't move to Australia. Don't visit Australia.
I will never go to Australia.
They got spiders that eat possums.
No thanks.
Yep.
No thanks.
But
Colton, what's yours?
zombies, I like. Okay, it's a love-hate relationship. I love watching zombie movies. I played every zombie game in the world, but like, it is an irrational fear that like I'm
If it
gonna.
happened.
Like one day I'm just gonna be sitting playing my game, and then there's gonna be zombies at my window or my door, and it's like it's terrifying. The amount of nightmares I've had about just zombies.
No.
I like no. I think it's more terrifying because it's like a monster I can rationalize.
Yeah.
Just like it's creepy. It's like it doesn't exist because it's so not real. But a zombie is humanoid.
Yep.
It looks like something
moves.
familiar. And it's like, but it's not.
It's distorted.
Yeah, it's ugh.
See, my biggest fear, again, irrational,
Yeah.
skunks.
I think we've had this
that.
conversation. That's crazy.
Terrified of skunks. I always tell people I'd rather face a lion because I knew I'll die after facing a lion,
Yeah.
but I have to live with facing a skunk. Like my nose is almost always clogged, like 99% of the year. It's
Yeah.
just how it is. It's very bad. I started using a neti pot a little, but bad gag reflex is when it goes back.
Sure.
It's not fun. But if I get a bad smell, it gets stuck in there. Like sometimes the smells from my neighbors smoke, and it's not fun. But I'll be going somewhere and I still smell the smoke, like an hour later.
Ooh.
And so driving by a skunk, that smell is literally stuck. And to top it off, they will spray for any reason if you get close.
That's true.
And people try to use the whole tomato thing. That's not actually how it works. And
That's
if you,
true.
If you use soap, if you use anything to clean it off, it reignites it, gets it stronger. And so there's just like having to live with that, and just for a little while, it just sounds
I'm going to be selfish for
Terrifying.
1 minute and just argue why my irrational fear is the greatest of all these irrational fears. Colton, zombies aren't real.
I know.
So you're out. David, skunks. The smell will go away eventually. So you're out. No compassion. And I'm teasing.
Oh man.
Spiders will literally kill you. Literally.
You realize you're trying to rationalize an irrational fear.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I do.
Well,
The whole point was irrational.
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah. No, but yeah. That
I
was,
don't know if you saw what I did.
yeah,
there.
I saw exactly. Yeah. No, but yeah. I mean, I see spiders more rational in Australia or Africa.
True.
They get huge. I mean, tarantula. Oh man, screw that.
True. Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
at least where we are, we have those like dangly little. Like, at least in our apartment, we have those dangly little spiders that couldn't bite you if they tried. But anyways, I think there's more we could have gone into. We probably will, as always, because The Office is amazing. You've already heard examples of it, and you'll hear them again.
Go watch it if you haven't,
Yeah.
and comment below what your favorite
episode,
is.
or even if you can't think of episode, your favorite
Character.
cold open character.
How about this? Even better. Comment below with your favorite Office meme.
That would be even better. Yeah.
Or let me know if you don't like it.